Okay, up. We'll do my self-test. Go ahead and run that. Test execution completed successfully. Okay, that's good. 13 system install check. LTT script error. Okay, that works. Okay, it's probably LTT script error probably kept it from determining the model information of the host bus adapter. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and load a tape if I can step around the tripod. Oh, that's... Sorry about that. You've been looking at blurry stuff. Manual. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and shove a tape in it. Alright, it sounds like the tape just loaded. And then, once the drive becomes ready, alrighty, the drive is now ready, so let's do a drive assessment test. This test will check the functionality of the drive, ensure that it's working correctly, and set the allow overwrite test option. Okay, that's not it. Loose one. Okay. 43 note free. Please load a data cartridge, preferably a new cartridge, and ensure that the thing is not write protected, so I'll have to eject the tape. Alrighty, it's not write protected. So let's reload the tape and wait for the drive to once again become ready. Drive is ready. Let's start the test. The drive assessment test is started. Press Ctrl A to abort the test. I'm going to go grab a snack and we'll come back when this is finished. Okay, we're back. What, 2.5 hours later? Hour and a half, 2.5 hours later, something along the lines of that. And there's been some rather interesting developments on the way. Tape drive works. Yay. I have a tape in it. I actually have a tape in it right now that currently contains my 2015 video editing archives. So I'll go ahead and eject it. You see the ready light begin to flash. It makes some racket as it unspools the tape off the take-up reel. And you'll hear some clicks as it pulls the tape back into the cartridge and ejects it, just like that. The things these tapes are going to contain is not set in stone yet. Okay, so I have a couple of tapes here. Here's one of them, here's the other one of them. I'm going to warn you now, do not run any of the tests that involve writing to tapes using the using the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Library and Tape Tools suite of tests and software. Why? Because it will kill your tapes. So, I went and started the test, and it got to erasing. Then the tape error light started flashing, and it immediately booted out the tape, and the test failed, citing a tape error. Something about how the tape wasn't loaded, or it was complaining about the incorrect media type. And this is what happens now when you stick the affected tape into the drive. It immediately boots out the tape, and you have a flashing tape error light. And this happened to 2 tapes. 2 different tapes. So we'll shove the other tape in, and it immediately boots it out, citing a tape error. Now I'm not sure what type of a tape error it's complaining about. Let's go back in my command history quite a bit, because I was playing around with CAT and PV and TAR. There we go. Yeah, so it's sitting here, stalled out. Tape info is, at least. So I'm gonna stop Control-C out of that, and I'm gonna load a tape, and then I'm gonna immediately fire off the tape info. See, it boots the tape out. And you know what? I'm just gonna do a status. Well, we're just going to do a tape info, because tape info is what's hanging up on us. Yeah, I wasn't doing this before, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load a known good tape, which should clear the tape error fault. And let it load and spool up the tape. Okay. Now, of course, for some weird reason, Tape Info is citing a tape alert, bad format. The loaded tape contains data in an unsupported format, so I don't know what it's going on about that. And MT pointed at the tape drive with a status command issued to it. Points out that we are at the beginning of the tape. The drive is online, and yeah. So I'm gonna do a watch command on that so we can see the status update live. SCSI 2 tape drive. 3, 2, 1, eject. And immediately the beginning of tape and online marks go away, and door open should come up as soon as it ejects. which it just did. Well, yep, dr_open. So, now if I load up one of the faulty tapes, or attempt to load, door open immediately clears as the tape loads in, and the tape is immediately booted out, and the door open flag returns to haunt us for the rest of our days. Then we'll try the other tape. Door open immediately clears as the transport goes down, and should reappear within a moment, which it just did. Load a good tape. Door open clears. Now, good tape, it doesn't immediately boot back out, and we are at the beginning of tape, and the drive is online and ready for the next command. So, what I did is I went and I and I copied my 2015 video editing archives to this tape. Now, it's not really a definitive test because it's not from the very beginning of the tape to the very end of the tape. But it is suitable to test the read-write heads and the integrity of the tape itself. And what I did here is I copied off that file, 2015 archives renamed, which I renamed after copying to tape, and that went about 40 megabytes a second. And I'm staring at my camera here, and renamed that, and then I copied it back to the hard disk as 2015 archives. And then I went and I generated an MD5 sum against both archives. Okay. The MD5 sum of the original archive is 14F4C6287A799E7B 4D F5 4BD781CDA143, and the MD5 sum of the tape copy is the exact same, 14F4C6287A799E7B 4DF5 4BD781CDA143. So both of these archives are byte for byte identical with each other. And you know what oh, it's going out of focus. That's great. Here, focus on that. But what I did is I basically moved to and from and SHA summed it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some stuff to tape after erasing it. And I'm not going to erase it using the erase command you feed to the drive, no. I'm at the very beginning of the tape. At least I should be, which it's definitely recording. However, I am going to rewind the tape back to the beginning, which that just immediately exited. So yeah, we're at the very beginning of the tape. And now I am going to quote-unquote erase the tape by writing a null to record 0 on the tape. And we do that by doing it by First we need super user access, so the sudo satisfies that for us. And then, I'm messing with the tripod somehow. And then, I'm going to run tar, I think it's, let's see, tar, and tar CVF is to send it to the tape, CVF, NST0, which is the first tape device, with the N being for no rewind, i.e. do not rewind the tape after the command completes. I want to rewind the tape after the command completes, so I'm going to do ST0, which is the first standard tape device, and without the no rewind argument passed to it. And then I'm going to specify the file we want to read from, which is dev null, and this will write a null to the first record, thus erasing that record and everything following it. And the tape drive just wrote the record, and it seems to be rewinding. So a status command, yep, shows the beginning of tape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move a directory onto tape. So what do we want? What directory do we want to pick? I think. Oh, we have nothing in here. Well, actually we do. I need to upload those. What do we want to move? I think I'll move my Windows 3 install, which is a whopping 1.1 gigabytes /home, the Computer Geek 9993. And now we are going to send that to tape. So let me adjust the camera. Well, first we're going to start the command, and we can see it's moving stuff to tape. And we are definitely writing to tape. And apparently it has some of my old music on it in that directory. We have 17 minutes of camera battery left, and yeah, definitely getting a bit slow going from my computer to the tape drive. However, if you're just writing a massive piece of contiguous file, such as an archive, like a compressed archive, as I'll be doing, that will usually get you the full drive speed. And for some reason, this credit.wri file, this Windows Write file in the IFA directory, is taking forever. Either that or we're waiting on it. Either that or we're waiting on it to rewind back to the beginning of the tape so it can go down and begin writing the next track. Either that or we just wrote a tape. Nope. Note to self, NST0, ST0. So, And as we can see, command is completed successfully. I manually hit the up arrow on my keyboard and made the command come back. As we can see, we just wrote a tape. And now we're going to go not VF, CD home, Micro 90, CD 90, and then we will restore from tape, which we'll do by changing the C in CVF to an X, so it reads XVF, and we will only specify the device to read from. We will not specify anything else. And I want it to rewind. In fact, I don't want it to rewind after this, because we're going to do something else. So we want NST0, and we are reading from tape. Oh boy, the camera battery is definitely running low. Looks like it moved an Alabama CD. I'm not sure if you're able to hear that or not, by the way. There's so many fans. I got 4 giant fans on my main computer, and then we got the fan in the back of this thing that is definitely on the louder side of things. Alrighty, looks like it just completed. The ready light is steady. I'm gonna pull it and didn't know it. Oh boy, the camera battery is running low. Yeah, we just restored from tape. And if we go home, 90, home, computer D913, we'll see that we have basically all of our files exactly as they are in the original directory. So anyways, looks like this part of the video is going to be cut short. We'll come back sometime later. I don't know how much later. Don't be surprised if the video if this part just unexpectedly ends because the camera battery decided it doesn't want to do anything anymore. Next time we are going to be moving stuff off the tape for real. See ya. Hey everybody, this is the Computer Geek 0101010001 here, and today is Friday, August 14th, 2020 at 7:11:32 p.m. That clock's ahead. That clock is also ahead. Yeah, anyways. The last video I took was, oh gosh, when was it? I genuinely don't know when the last time I took video on this project was. It was, anyways, been way too long. Yeah, I got here's our friend, the HP StorageWorks Ultrium 448 LTO2 tape drive, in place and functional. Got it powered up right now. Anyways, right there in that box, right there in this box, lies 4 terabytes of LTO2 tape. And I'm talking about 4 terabytes uncompressed capacity. 200 gigabytes of tape, 200 gigabytes uncompressed per tape. And there's 5 tapes per pack, and there's 4 packs in this box. Ordered it from a seller on eBay, as like everything else with this project. And, yep. So, let's open this box up and see what we get. And there they are. Now of course I've already pre-opened the box and whatnot. So yeah. There's just something about these styrofoam things, using these little styrofoam balls, that just makes the little styrofoam balls go basically everywhere in no time flat. It's like they stay on there for all of about 5 seconds until you actually start doing something with them, and then next thing you know, they're covering every wall in your room. So, oh look, there's one stuck to the side of a tape pack. But anyways, I'm glad the seller used appropriate packing materials, because it looks like United States parcel smashers attempted to play football with the box. Either that or another box ended up crashing onto it. Anyways, these are 4 packs of 5 LTO2 tapes, new old stock, TDK branded, I'll add. So TDK Ultrium LTO2, 200/400 gigabytes, 200 uncompressed, 400 compressed, pre-labeled. Y'all gonna look at those. Maybe you can scan the barcodes for the laws. Of course, each tape has its own serial number. And then there's the tape hub in the middle of the tape cartridge. Write Protect tab. This is where the tape actually comes out. It's the tape access doors. I do not know when these tapes were originally manufactured. There's the front of the tapes. And here we are looking at the side of them again. Okay, there's 4 sides here, Will. Which one's not facing out? Let's see. Barcodes, that. Okay. Now, I was facing the other way. It doesn't matter since we're about to go opening them. Anyways. So, yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up each tape, and then I'm going to write an archive to it, one of my smaller video editing archives, and I'm going to read that archive back. And verify that the archive read back off of tape is identical to the archive copied to tape. So, I don't have any opening utensils in here. Yes, I do. It's a watch with a little thingamadooblier on the end. This, see, ISON approved plastic material slicing, opening, and puncturing tool. Well, at least it would be if it worked. Okay, that's not going to work. However, I do have a Clearstream Wastewater Systems certified plastic cutter. Works on most types of plastic that hasn't gotten overly stretchy over the years. Or I could actually just do it right and go grab my knife out of the tech room. Stand by. Okay, of course, as soon as I turn off the camera, it opens right up with no problem. So, now is the first time some of these tapes are seeing, or a majority of the portion of these tapes are seeing the light of day in probably several years. Could be more than a decade, depending on when these tapes were manufactured. So here they are. Let's go ahead and separate a tape from the rest. Let me see. Oh. Anyways, I don't know if that's supposed to be a serial number or a lot number or whatnot. If you can derive a manufacturing date, that'd be great. Anyways, first time that leader pin has ever seen the light of day since it left the factory. There's the video camera high. So, yeah. I'm going to test all 20 of these tapes and we'll be back. Hey everybody, we are back. It is Sunday, August 16th, 2020, and I believe it is approximately 1.5 to 2 days after I took the last piece of video footage that we just saw. So I have went ahead and tested all 20 tapes, and all 20 tapes have come back fine. Now what I did to test those tapes is I wrote my 2015 archives, my 2015 video editing archives to tape, immediately proceeded to rewind the tape and read back this file off of tape, and then it generated a hash of that file. Then it performed a quick erase on the tape and ejected it. And then all I had to do was compare the hash of the file pulled off a tape to the hash of the known good original file. And all 20 tapes came back fine. Now, if I wanted to do this off and on for more than a month, and read back all 200 gigabytes from each tape, yeah, that'd be great. But I'm not spending a whole month on doing that. So yeah, quick test. So, anyways, I believe I've got everything ready. I've got my 2015. Let's go ahead and change over. I've got my 2015 archives, my 2016 archives. I've got the original 2017 archives, but since this is nearly 300 gigabytes, as you can see right down here, that's not going to fit on a single tape. So what I did is this. I split this at approximately the 190 gigabyte mark. I know it's 189. Bite me. Anyways, split this at roughly 190 gigabytes because I want because LTO2 tapes have a compressed capacity of 400 gigabytes. However, these are already compressed enough that we're not going to get the full 400 gigabytes of compressed capacity. Did I say 200 gigabytes compressed? It's 400 gigabytes compressed, 200 gigabytes uncompressed, and I can hear my GPU fan spinning, probably because the GPU is handling hardware encoding. Anyways, yeah. And I also wanted a roughly 10 gigabyte safety barrier at the end of the tape. So yeah, 190 gigabytes, thereabouts. So yeah, that's the first chunk. Then the second chunk is the rest of that particular archive. It is a 107.6 gigabyte chunk. And then we have our 2018 archives, and this can fit on just one tape. However, due to the way the tapes are laid, due to the way I have everything structured, it's not going to fit on one tape. So I had to split it into two pieces. Now, ordinarily, you would expect that these two would be in the archives folder on my video editing drive. However, there's a problem. I have 59.5 gigabytes free on that, and this whole thing is 131.6 gigabytes. So yeah, so I actually had to copy or move the 2018 archives to my home drive, split it, and then move it back to the video editing drive, which was real fun. So these two are sitting on my home drive, as indicated by that right up there. And then of course we have our file server disk images eating up 28.1 gigabytes. And those aren't actually related to video editing, so I did not put them on the video editing drive. These are disk images of computers whose main purpose has significantly changed since the disk image was taken, or since that computer was completely retired entirely for whatever reason, or if that computer is not going to be maintained for basically the indefinite future. I know the 2004 gaming rig disk image. That same computer then became the Tech Room Network Bridge, which was pulled from service May 2nd of this year because due to network configuration changes, this machine was rendered unnecessary. Thank goodness. And then we have the Dell Inspiron B130. Either that machine died, actually, either that or that's one of the machines I'm not maintaining for a while. The Dell Dimension E310 disk image, that machine has since become the Legacy Things computer. And the Toshiba Tecra A2, that's another one of those non-maintained machines. So what I have here is a tape index. And this is how the tapes are structured. This also contains the MD5 hashes of all the files, which if any one single particular byte in a file changes, the MD5 sum will change. So I have basically an index of everything on all the tapes. If my mouse will let me select, that'd be nice. So yeah, as you can see, our 2018 archives happen to fall on the onto the second portion of tape 3, because tape 2 is our 2017 archives, which must be split between two tapes. So the second half of the 2017 archives happens to fall on the first chunk of tape 3, therefore forcing me to split the 2018 archives so that way I can make the most use of tape 3. The second half of that happens to fall on to the beginning of tape 4, and that pushes. Unfortunately, there's still room for all of the disk images, and everything has been MD5 summed. And I have actually went and generated I have actually went and reassembled the 2018 archives and generated a hash of the reassembled archive, and it came back byte for byte identical to the original thing. So now, I'm going to go through my configuration here. So what we have is, if I do an LSPCI, you'll see a SCSI storage controller, a Broadcom /LSI 53C1030 PCI-X Fusion MPT Dual Ultra 320 SCSI, and there's two of those. So what these are, those represent the two ports on my LSI Logic model LSI 22320 SLE controller card. That is then connected to, let me see, to my HP Ultrium LTO2 SCSI tape drive. HP StorageWorks Ultrium 448 LTO2 tape drive. It's currently powered off right now. However, the reason why it's showing up is because whenever I last rebooted the system, I powered up that tape drive and the card detected it, and as such, we're seeing it here in LS SCSI. My motherboard does not have PCI-X slots on it. There's actually an internal bridge on that particular card which converts PCI-X to PCIe X4. So there's a processor PCI bridge. Here we go. PLX Technology Incorporated PEX 8114 PCI Express to PCI /PCI-X bridge revision BC. That is on that controller card itself. So, and just as y'all know, this video has been taken over quite a very significant period of time. I'll need to go look back through my video editing files and see when I first kicked this thing off, because, well, dadgum, it has been a crazy 2020, and that's as far as I'm going to go into that. This is a politics-free channel, and I aim to keep it that way. So, anyways, yeah. So, now I'm actually going to go jump back to our webcam, and we'll go ahead and point it at this. This right here is a printed copy of the reassembly instructions, and an MD5 of the hashes file is right there. Now, if we jump back over to our primary monitor and we look at our recovery and reassembly instructions, this is basically all the instructions I need to recover and reassemble the contents of the tapes back into usable files. If you want, feel free to pause the video and read through this yourself. But anyways, what I have done is I have created an MD5 sum of those files, LTO2 tape index and recovery and reassembly instructions, and then I went a step further and did up an MD5 sum of that, which I then wrote down hard copy on this piece of paper. The reason why this is scribbled out right here is because I started writing down the wrong MD5 hash. So, yeah. And then there's my third monitor right over there. Gateway VX700, manufactured October of 2000. Yeah. Get a better look at that. This right here is my power. This right here is my power switch box. This switch right here does the tape drive. So we're actually going to go ahead and power that up right about now. And believe me, it is horrendously noisy. So I'm going to look over here. Let me see. Waiting on this thing to become ready. And it's ready. So now what we're going to do is, oh, by the way, if you're wondering what's on my second monitor, it's H-top. Oh my, that's a lot of OBS threads. But yeah, what I'm doing is I have H-top open, so that way I can monitor threads and whatnot and see if anything gets bound up in D state, which for those of you who aren't Linux administrators, it basically, those of you who aren't Linux administrators or whatnot, but have a pretty good understanding of I/O operations and whatnot, it means that the process is stuck waiting on uninterruptible I/O. If you don't know what any of that means, it basically means that a process wants to read or write to or from disk. However, it cannot do so because the disk is completely busy. So therefore, the process just has to sit there and wait for the disk to be able to, or other resource to be able to do something, to be able to free up some bandwidth so that process can actually do something. So now we're gonna go and we are going to check the status of the tape drive. Let me see. Door open, and this is, I don't know what this is. I googled it before, and I've completely forgotten about what that means since. So now if we go back to our webcam, here are the tapes we're going to be using. TDK branded tapes. Now, gotta love this fixed focus camcorder. And then and these are pre-barcoded for use in automatic tape library systems, which they get very unhappy if you're not using barcoded tapes. I'm not sure if it'll straight up completely reject the tape. Wouldn't be surprised if it did. I've never actually worked with the tape library. However, I have heard that tape libraries get rather unhappy if you try using unlabeled, unbarcoded tapes. So here's the leader pins on these tapes. And the tape drive will physically attach to those leader pins and pull it into the drive. And that's how it unspools the tape. And there's the other leader pin. And I have two sets of these. I have two sets of 10 tapes. And they're divided up into two sets of 5 on top of that. And I have two sets of 5 tapes. Also pre-barcoded. And with valid leader pins in the proper position. Common fault with LTO tapes is the leader pin will get dislodged and the drive will fail to load the tape. So I got these new old stock, and these actually I got these in a couple of days ago, actually on the 14th. So the last couple of days have basically just been shoving a tape in, running a bash one-liner to automatically check it, and then the tape getting spat out at the end of checking, me verifying the hash, and then shoving the next tape in and rerunning the same bash one-liner roughly 17 or so times. I did the first 3 tapes manually. So, by the way, this network controller, this the only I don't know if it's my network equipment or whatnot, but I was only getting about 250 megabits down max from my file server. It could just be up to the router I have in the tech room. Anyways, that's off the subject of this video. So, now what we're going to do is I am going to load the very first tape, and we are going to begin writing things to tape. So, I've typed that command way too many times lately. So, so I've got the very first tape right here. And by the way, these tapes were new old stock, sealed up, still sealed in their factory packaging. So, yeah. And also, if you're going to be using tapes for archival purposes, either get worm tapes, or set the Write Protect tab like this. It's like you have the Write Protect tab, get in there, and put it over to the other side, and that's how it should look. Now, I'm actually going to demonstrate what happens if you load a write protected tape into a tape drive. Keep watch on the general status bits. Door open means no tape is loaded. Loading tape now. Door open has disappeared. That was a worrying chunk. Alrighty, it's threaded it into the drive. Also, with tape drives, I don't know what it is about my particular hardware configuration, but okay, here we go. We have 3 additional status bits. BOT means beginning of tape, WR_prot means write protected, and online means the drive is ready. So if we Control C out, beginning of tape, write protected, and the online, and then that other status flag, which is always there. So if we try to write to this particular tape drive with a write protected tape loaded, watch what happens. It immediately bails out. DevNST0 cannot open, read-only file system error is not recoverable, exiting now. And that's exactly what should happen. So if we go back to our status page, and we go and command the drive to eject, online and beginning a tape immediately disappear, and the write protect flag sticks around. And that's going to stick around until the next time. That's going to stick around until the next time we load a non-write protected tape. And the tape has been ejected, the door is open, and it's ready for another tape. So, go back to the webcam. So, see the write protect flag? I gotta do something about this lighting. Anyways, it's a very dull red. Might not even be able to see it. No, you're not able to see it. Yeah, you're not able to see it right now because these lights are too bright. Okay, testing. Okay, good. Can you see the status flag now? No, you can't. Okay, that was a exercise in futility. Anyways, let's just use my phone's flashlight. Okay, that's better. stupidly bright. So, yep, there it is. And then we're going to turn off the write protection. Just like that. As you can see, write protect flag is in. And now we're going to load the tape again. Alrighty, loading tape. And I'm going to go turn the lights back up, watch what happens. Okay, so as you can see, beginning of tape, we're online, the write protect flag has cleared. And if we try the same thing again, it works. And now we're going to rewind and quick erase. And what I do with a quick erase is I just write a null to record 0. And now we're going to do another status check into file online, which means we're at the end of a record. Now we're going to rewind back to the beginning of the tape. Yeah, you have BOT, I think you have BOT, BOF, and BOD, which means beginning of tape, beginning of file, and what do I say? BOT, BOD, beginning of data, which is probably synonymous with beginning of tape, and then BOF, beginning of file, I think. But anyways, then you also have status flags. Like this one, EOF. Then you also have EOD, which means end of data, and EOT, which means the physical end of the tape. Can't go any further past that. So now we're going to do a status. We are on the beginning of the tape, and now we are going to refer to our LTO tape index, and we are going to begin writing to tape. So, record 0, LTO2 tape index. Writing to tape now. Writing the tape, and we have now written the tape. Next up, we are going to write recovery and reassembly instructions to the tape. Similar situation. And now that's been written to tape. And then we have our MD5 sums.txt file. Alrighty. And now we have our